It is that fundamental belief, I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper, that makes this country work. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Some people are divided by religion, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some people are divided by their greed, yeah. Some people are divided by deception, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some have a lot of money but still in need, yeah. The time has come to help your hurting brother. Time has come to think about your sister. Can't turn a blind eye to their need, yeah. Share some love to help your hurting brother. Share some love to help your fallen sister. One God, one faith, one destiny, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Well, everything around us is changing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing will ever be the same, yeah. Limitless scope for transformation, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yet no one has the answer for the pain, yeah. Selfishness and greed have many blinded. Heartlessness has many people suffering. Why can't we see our brothers' pain, yeah? Children are hungry and they are crying. Mothers are hurting and they are sighing. Yet all we care about is gain, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Stand for unity, yeah.
COVID-19 is destroying many countries around the world. Many people are now worse off as inflation continues to spike out of control. Yet, salaries remain fixed, which is forcing many people to take drastic measures to maintain their standard of life. Single parents can hardly make ends meet, while husbands and wives are now struggling to keep their families together. Even when both parties are earning a salary, income is still not enough, and this is forcing many to borrow, which only plunge them deeper into debt. Lifeline Financial Programs is the only financial support program in the BVI which stretches your income so you can afford more. Lifeline generates money on your money so you can better take care of your family. Lifeline helps you build cash reserve and set your mind at ease, while our strategic financial plans transform your life. Guaranteed. Opportunity comes but once. If you lose it, it is gone forever. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get registered with Lifeline Financial Programs today and let us help you transform your financial life. Lifeline Financial Programs will help you stay ahead. See us at 4 Mill Mall or call 540-4555. Or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com for a registration appointment.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Feel like
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to everyone, wherever you're joining us from. Let me welcome you to another episode of The Raw Truth. And of course, you know that when we come here for The Raw Truth, we give you the raw truth. However, tonight we'll be taking a different approach to the program, and we have a very interesting family to introduce to you. But while we prepare for them, I'm going to ask you to share this program with your friends, as we give them a few minutes to get in. And when you talk about family, this is indeed a very unique family, as you will see us introduce them to you. We're talking about the Washitaw sovereign family, and we have many sovereign communities across the world. I wouldn't even use the word indigenous, because most of us are never from the same place. We were born technically. Parents are from other places. You end up there by virtue of birth, but then not necessarily indigenous per se. Some of us were raised in other places across the world, but at the same time, sovereignty has to do with a whole different presentation, a whole different concept to what we are all accustomed to. And I think this is something that is very interesting, as we will outline to you exactly what our sovereign families do, who they are. And I think this is set to be a very interesting presentation this evening. Share this with your friends. Yes, share with your friends. Invite them to this discussion, because I think it's going to be quite an interesting presentation. Tonight we're going to be looking at the sovereign agenda for family, and I think this is absolutely going to blow your mind as we take you to a different level, outside the norm, outside of what we're accustomed to having, outside of what we're accustomed to seeing, to hear, outside of what we are accustomed to knowing. Quite interesting, and of course, I thought this is something that you would want to you would love to share, because this is going to take you into a totally different area of life, a totally different area of existence, when compared to what we're all accustomed to. It is interesting that when you look at what has been happening across the world among us, you realize that everything is falling apart technically, and it seems that your rights have been technically deteriorated to the point where you wonder if we still have rights nowadays. And it is very interesting to note that the only set of people who will be able to help us are the sovereign people. We have one such community in Atlantis, Jamaica. We have another one in Dominica. The Caribs, we have, well, you're talking about the Moors in the States again, many other such indigenous families. You have some such in Trinidad. And I could continue to name many such people across the world. What is their agenda? How do they live? What do they have to tell us this evening? Come right back, and of course, when we come back, I will be having a little chat with some of our friends online, and of course, we will get into the stuff that the presentation that they have for us. We come right back in a minute.
The last thing we always hear after trouble strikes is, "If I had known." It is dangerous to take things for granted, then find yourself alone in deep mess with no one to turn to. Only you and you alone will suffer the consequences. Serious changes are taking place around the world, and things will get tougher in the Virgin Islands. Yet many of us continue to hop along our merry way, sadly uninformed and unprepared. Regardless of how safe you may feel, you will soon realize that unless you have a strong support system in place, life will become very difficult. This is why we must take immediate steps now to secure ourselves by becoming a member of a strong support system before things are too far gone. Lifeline Financial Programs is the strongest support system you can ever have. Lifeline offers the best option for social, financial and emotional support as we prepare to meet the challenging days ahead. Lifeline is the only program which offers not only financial support, but social and emotional support as well. Regardless of what anyone may say, if you do not have strong financial, social and emotional support moving into the trying days ahead, you will face some very serious challenges. Lifeline Financial Programs provide the most reliable support as we prepare you to meet the challenging days ahead. If you have a job, find us now before your situation change for the worst. Take me seriously. Don't allow things to fall apart then you say, if I had known. Get registered with Lifeline Financial Programs today. Protect yourself. Let us shield you against the tough days ahead. Call us at 540-4555 or see us at 4 Mill Mall today for more information.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Okay, good evening again to everyone, and let me invite you to share this live with your friends. This will get very interesting as we move forward this evening, and of course we have some very interesting guests I'll be introducing to you in a minute. And we'll be talking with the Washitaw sovereign family. I'm not sure if I'm yet to learn the name correctly. Quite a very interesting development as people strive to preserve their rights. People strive to preserve their originality, as people strive to protect the very thing that was originally assigned to them. For those of us who know, we have been technically robbed of our sovereignty since we were born by virtue of the craftiness of the system within which we live. The matrix, as some of us might know, has stolen our sovereignty from us. But here we have tonight a sovereign family, which will be outlining to us some very interesting highlights moving through this broadcast. We have the Granyanka of the Washitaw sovereign family here with us this evening, and of course, she is blazing in her glory. I would love to have a little chat with her before the chief of the Washitaw family comes in, and of course, I think they have a very interesting presentation lined up for you this evening. Granyanka, good evening, madam. How are you doing?
I'm great, and it's an honor to be here. And love light to everyone. Greetings to everyone worldwide.
Wonderful. Tell me something. It seems to be a new thrust, a new drive, a new push for our peoples across the world, the Caribbean region and other parts of the world, to be repositioning themselves to reclaim their sovereignty. It seems to me that there is quite a very significant move in the Caribbean region itself, to join our brothers and sisters across the USA and other parts of the world, as we stand in solidarity together. Tell me a little bit about the journey to where you sit tonight. Give us a little backdrop on who the Granyanka is.
Oh, that's a really interesting question. Because I, as the Granny Anka, I'm responsible for actually keeping balance, overseeing and making sure that everything go as protocol in the order in which it's supposed to go. It's a lot of work. All the paperwork, everything, structure, things that we are putting together. I'm there to make sure that everything is on track and going in the way and in the order in which it's supposed to go.
Many people might not understand the name Granny Yanka. It sounds like Granny Yanka. I'm not. It would be spelled that way. Can you explain to our viewers what this position? Is it your name or is it a position? Explain to our viewers so they understand.
Right. The Granny Anchor, it's not my name. My name is actually, my affiliate is actually Ava Sumaya Ali is my affiliate. But the Granny Yanka, it's actually a position. It's a very honorable position. It's it's a high position together with the chief of the nation as well.
Ah, okay. All of this will be absolutely very, very, very new to our viewers, and of course, when you talk about the indigenous sovereign peoples,
Yeah,
many terms that we use within, or I should say, many terms that are used within the family will be absolutely very unusual to
yeah.
our
It,
brothers and sisters.
it is unusual, and it's because of what had been taken away from us. We
Yes,
no longer understand who we are, where we are going, and where we're supposed to be in society. Because all these this from our culture, from our roots, from our lineage were taken away from us. And we
yes,
learn and adapt to more of the colonial style of living than
yes,
our own style in which we been living before. So this coming out to people at this point in time, it's new to them. And it's something that, it will take them a little time to grasp at. But this has been in our lineage, our roots, our tradition for eons. It's nothing
absolutely.
new, but it is just new to people because it was hidden, and now it is we
Yes,
are actually bringing this to light, bringing this to the people, and making the people know where we came from, where we belong, and it's time for us to actually go back to our roots, to actually gain our rights, come to the consciousness, and for us to spread the word around so that our people will wake up and become conscious of this
yes.
whole
Do,
thing.
do you think our peoples across the Caribbean region are waking up to this reality? What are you seeing? What is your
Yeah,
reality here? Talk with us.
yeah, yeah. I'm seeing that. Based on we've been having some live shows um for the past few weeks, and for the turnout I saw on those live shows, it was brilliant. It was
Wonderful.
beautiful to see
Yes,
people all over the globe enhance could enhance what were being said to them, what were being taught, the consciousness that were coming back to them. They embraced it
yes,
in all glory. And it was
yes.
actually a beautiful thing to see.
Wow, amazing. Good
Yes,
news, and of course, commendations to the grand, to the family. I'm seeing a couple others coming on. I'm seeing Empress Janice coming on. I see Chief Tonic in here. I see Samai is in here as well. I'm still to come on. I'm sure there are many others. Okay, let me run on to Empress Janice, of course, and if anything, we'll get back to you a little later, of course, as the program rolls. Okay. Oh, all right. And we just had a little chat there with the Granyanka of the of the amazing sovereign family called the Washitaw sovereign family, and of course It seems to me that we're in for a very interesting discussion this evening. Let me bring in Empress Janice at this point. I hope she can open her video and audio and everything so we can get through to her. Um, I need to bring her in, so I hope she's hearing me and she's prepared to go. Um, let me hear from Chief Tonic. I hope good. Yes, I hope everybody is ready to roll. Chief Tonic, how you doing, my brother?
I say greetings and welcome to you and everyone. And, it's a pleasure being here on the program. And I must
Yes,
congratulate Granny Inka, all the council members, Empress Janice, and Ralston and others that is about to try to come in at the same time. So it's an honor, pleasure being here with you, my brother. Great honorable
yes,
chief.
yes. I find it very interesting, sir, that at this point in time, you watch our people technically gravitate to this new way of life. You look at the shift. From what the Granny Anka said earlier, the lives have been absolutely amazing as people from all across the world come on for the information. They come for the family. They come for the camaraderie. They come to just embrace the love. I find that absolutely very interesting myself because I have been also connected to the lives, and the warmth you feel is nothing anyone, any place will be tired of having anytime at all. What is the secret, Paramount High Chief? Tell us, what is the secret? What is pulling our people towards the Washitaw sovereign family? Talk with us.
Well, basically, the secret is the act to be free, to be expelled from the so-called rule of the dictatorship, the colonial powers that suppress our people over the years. And well, it's been going on for over 400 years where they create the corporation, refer to it as a government, and exploit you for the resources and the land, and even use the citizens as subject. So it is a great pleasure introducing the natural way of life and teaching people how to become their own independent thinkers and how to remove themselves from being a subject. Because the essence of knowledge, what the elites and the colonial processors taught members of the bar association, such as the lawyers and the politicians, civil sergeants, etc., is the truth is like putting weapons into their hands. So never you teach the people how we had enslaved them or what slavery is really offer. So by hiding the truth, this maritime law system is what suppresses the people. And by creating a school system to suppress your culture and your heritage and the real truth is what keeps our people mental slavery. So when we introduce the truth and the truth sets you free, when we introduce the truth and the truth feels so overwhelming, knowing that all that we've been taught is basically a lie, and that the way of how we even gather or think or even eat, our diet from our teachings, everything is all false. It's what they wanted us to adapt so that we would lose our true self, lose our true identity, lose our true culture. We got to remember, when someone creates an enterprise, the owner for that enterprise is the beneficiary. So if you join that enterprise, you will have to pay some form of royalties to the creator of that enterprise. So there is where it is with the board certificate and the government system. It is an enterprise created by somebody. And who created that enterprise? Register that enterprise so that all members of that enterprise will owe it up to the owner who created that enterprise to be his servants perpetually. And that's how they describe most of these colonial corporations. But these are hidden under fine print where we find the evidence and expose it to the citizens so they can see the actual facts. So when you expose truth, and like I said, truth set you free. And once the truth has been digested by most of the ones them who listen to the truth, they begin to see the different light and they begin to know the truth and wants to remove themselves imminently, urgently from the colonial power that suppress them. And so this light is something that we have to embrace. We have to share it. We have to endorse it. And we must promote it at all costs. Because if you look at Mother Nature, for example, my brother Kenneth, the minerals and the resources, they are naturally there from Mother Nature. Mother Nature don't tax us and she don't charge us for the water and she don't charge us to grow food on the land. But yet you have these colonial processors wants to tell you that you got to pay for a water bill, you got to pay for the resources. No, we can't have that. That is an exploitation of the universe and its natural way of providing the necessary resources for us naturally. So you have one wants to exploit us and exploit our way of life. So I guess we have to think logically and reverse it.
Wow, that's a mouthful, sir.
It is.
And when the day is over, I think again it sounds interesting. It sounds different. It sounds, somebody might be wondering what exactly is he talking about. It's like you're learning a new language, a new way of life, a new. It sounds so different. Please share this because it will absolutely get a lot more interesting as we continue to share with our friends from the Washitaw indigenous family here this evening. Yes. If you're not a member of PSI Network or PSI TV, please like the page. Or if you're watching us from YouTube, please subscribe to the channel because we will have a lot more coming to you from right here on PSI TV. I'm gonna take a switch now to Empress Janice. I'm seeing her watching me very carefully, as she examine what is happening from her perspective right there. Empress Janice, how you doing?
I'm great. Greetings, Chief.
Tell me something. How did you learn about this whole experience? Give us a little backdrop on that. Talk with us.
I've been seeking for a very long time and spent a lot of years in churches, and there was just always something that was a little bit missing for me. And once the pandemic hit, I have children that I love dearly, and I know and I made up my mind that whatever it takes, I was going to save my children and myself. Um, Once I came in contact with the Washitaw Nation and realized that the reasoning behind why I experienced so many things right here in the US was because I was actually not free. I discovered that I was someone's slave, basically.
Wow.
And once I began to dig deeper and spend more time listening to the lectures that they have, I realized that not only am I one, but my children that I love so dearly and spend so much time and energy and resources to educate them were also not free. Their minds, because of the way I raise them, and we don't watch a lot of TV basically because I want my children to be critical thinkers, and they are. But we had no inkling that we were held as slaves because we were connected to a birth certificate, which basically gives our government the rights over us. I had been in court a few years ago, and one of the things that frightened me was the way the judge spoke to me in such a condescending manner, even though I was
Wow.
correct about everything and I was trying to protect my children. And she seemed so arrogant and upset that I was saying, these are my children, these are who they are. And her response is, oh, I guess they're overachievers, right? And she was so angry. And she made it known to me without telling me because intuition tells you certain things. So I felt that my mouth was chained shut at that time. I stepped back and stepped basically out of my rights to allow my children, because what I wanted was total control over my children. And even then, I realized now, although I lost a lot of asset, that did not help me because my children and I are not free. And I intend to live a free woman. This is something that is I'm so passionate about. And for mothers and fathers and grandparents, you don't have to believe this on just because we are saying it. Do your research.
Yeah, I find your line of thought very interesting, and I tell you why I say this. The world as we know it, and you look across the Caribbean region, every single Caribbean nation, every year about August, celebrate what we call independence. And independence is when they say our people across the region were liberated technically from our slave masters. The region became independent nations, independent from British rule. However, the impression of freedom, I think it has created, I think, a very false impression of freedom when compared to the word independence. Yes, so people take independence to mean freedom, but yet you look at how governments are treating us today, and one would wonder, are we living in hell or not? Now, from what you have seen, do you think our people, where should this begin? Do you think uh, it is the job of our teachers to help our children, for example, to begin with, to learn proper history, because all the history that they've been teaching people is a pile of garbage. We can now confirm that. Where should we begin? Because our people are still thinking that they are free and independent when the nations across the region and other places across the world are 100% still shackled by the chains of slavery until this day. What's your take on that?
Personally, I think that as parents, we need to do our homework and find out if what has been said here tonight makes sense. When I first heard it, I was a doubter, and then I began to do my research as I heard Chief Tonic and others on the line, Granny Enk and others expound on what they were saying. Once I did the research, it began to fall into place because even as a child in school, especially in high school, their history never added up to me because even if they linked it to the Bible, it did not make sense what they were saying. I have always known deep within me that we came from royalty, from educated, intellectual creators and professors. I've just always known these things. I could not quite say how. Now, when the parents, and especially mothers, because we are the nurturers, do their research and realize that not only are we not free, but they have been exploiting us, meaning here in the US, for instance, in some states, it's 35 cents come out of each dollar before you take your paycheck home, and then you are taxed for housing and you're taxed for certain goods, and you put your money in the bank, it gets taxed again. When I do my calculations, we have maybe 25 cents left. It's built on credit. Most of us live on credit. We have credit cards, and then they come and take your car, they take your house eventually. And I would like to ask, is that not slavery? I've traded in the chains, the shackles, physical shackles, for invisible shackles, like the debt that we occur. You know, we incur debts here all the time. And I really think that it has to begin in the household, mothers and fathers and grandmothers getting to
Mm-hmm.
know the truth
Mm-hmm.
and passing it on to their generations. Because we have been
Mm-hmm.
enslaved perpetually, we have to begin by freeing our minds and freeing the youth because they are our future. And that is why I'm here tonight to say Begin to research. If you are doubters, go and do your research and begin to teach your children because they are the future. If we look around in the world today, especially what I'm hearing in the Caribbean areas, are you truly free when people are basically mandating you to take a poison into your body that you don't want to take? Are you free? That is my question. I wish and I hope that each and every one of us will take away one thing, if nothing else, to ask your question. Ask yourself the question: are you free? Are you truly free? Our movements have been restricted. Our We are being monitored, even on our cell phones. Is that freedom? You cannot
Wow.
just go to any country because they have so many restrictions. I was trying to rent a place for a vacation home, and the first question was, "Are you fully vaccinated?" And I let them know that not only am I not I'm not fully vaccinated, I do not intend to be vaccinated. And if that is the case, that they could keep their property. When we have
Wow.
to stand in line for hours for food, when you cannot go to your job freely, are you truly free? Let's begin to examine our lives and where we're at today, because there's no going back to normal. That's a lie. Everything they have taught us in school about our history, about our heritage, was a lie. And everything our governments are presenting to us as true are not.
Wow. Wow. What can I say? That's a powerful mouthful there from you and Percy Chinese. It's quite amazing. Listen, we really take a lot for granted, and you look at exactly where we're going and how we're going to get there. It's quite a hell of a question. How will we get where we're going, and who will ever get there if that's the case? It seems like everybody's afraid nowadays to even express themselves the way you have. Quite commendable. All right, I'm gonna run back to the Grand Yanka because I think she perhaps would also have a position in relation to this whole matter of freedom. As the Grand Yanka of the Washitaw sovereign nation, do you think our people are ready or even understand in the first place that they are not free? What is your take on it?
Well, from the different live shows that we had for the past few weeks, and the way in which people has grasped at what were being said to them, I think it was great to see that they were done actually grasping to this knowledge, because the knowledge is actually locked in your DNA, right? It's just a matter of activating that. So when the birdie whisper into your ears, as like what we are doing, then things start to happen. People just need to do their due diligence and they need to do their research, right? And everything is going to unravel for them, because you cannot be, but from my take, you cannot be free and dumb at the same time. Because what they have did is what they did to us, they indoctrinated. They never gave us an
Wow.
education, because the education is our tool, is our weapon. And if we were educated, we wouldn't have been having this conversation here, right here now, and people would
Wow.
not have been enslaved. But what they had done, they had took away our weapon, they had took away our education, and the weapon is what I'm holding in my hand here, the pen. The pen is the weapon to free yourself. The pen is the
Wow.
education to free yourself. So now that people are being educated because they were never educated before, right? This knowledge, this education will now help them to free themselves. And it's not hard, as I say. I see that where they are already grasping at this. And it was truly amazing right?
Yes.
So, and people grasp it with the warmth that is supposed to grasp. People understand. People felt how they're supposed to feel. They felt that they were actually locked, and they now need to free themselves, not just physically, but actually spiritually as well. Because
Hmm.
down to our spiritualism were taken away from us and we were given religion, which is our next indoctrination as well. So our mindset will never prepare to think on our own. So even mentally we are enslaved. So until we break those shackles, and now that we are seeing people are coming out and people are grasping at this, we know it's just a matter of time because they do understand what is being said to them.
Yes. All right. Let me go to Empress Kilara. Is it Clara or Kilara? I'm still learning the names here. I'm not sure if I've stated it correctly. Greetings, Empress. How are you doing? Is it Empress Clara or Empress Kilara? Which one? Talk to us. Is she on? Yes, Empress Kilara. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. You're live. You're live on
Hello?
PSI Network.
I'm not hearing
Wow. That
anything.
you are not hearing anything.
I can't hear
Maybe
you.
you need to turn your phone up.
Yes, I'm
Maybe you need to
unmuted.
turn.
I still can't hear.
I'm not sure what has happened there. Maybe you need to assign your audio. All right, Chief. Let me get back to you because this discussion is quite an interesting one. And when the day is done, people are still trying to figure out how to get free. How? And while people are figuring out how to get free, how to be free, how to attain to that level of self determination, in fact, many seem not to know how. Many seem not to know how to engage that process. Um, as the paramount high chief of the Washitaw Nation, can you at this point explain to us how or what is the first thing to do to 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 clear one's self from the invisible grasp of the system under which they live? Talk with us.
First of all, what I did is found out the process that they use to enslave us and the particular type of law, which is called maritime law, which you would know they call it civil procedure, right? So once I found out the process, I know that there must be a way by reversing it. So this is why they say if you teach the truth to the people, it's like putting weapons into the hand, right? So they construct a particular law in 1250 and they call it Maritime Admiralty Law, which means laws at sea. And from this came the Papal Bull, and then from the Papal Bull came the Sestaki Trust, and it come right on up to this present time. And through that, they create a document called the birth certificate. And you know, in any type of contract that you're doing, there must be a disclosure. But in this case, there was no disclosure notifying your parent, which would be your mom or the dad, which one of them who they would refer to as an informant, and that's how they refer to your mom, as an informant to inform the state of a vessel coming in town. So that's how you're classified as a vessel. So while you're classified as a vessel, these particular documents didn't have a disclosure. So it's very easy to dispose of them. It's very easy to win them in their own court. Why? Because everything is done under fraud. And nowadays they use the security force to run coercion and intimidation on you, such as these statues with what you see playing down with this coronavirus and all these fraud, because they're not laws. and politicians can't make laws. But what they do is create a fiction, and by using these security forces to intimidate and threaten you and put you in fear, you submit. But if you understand the process of law like we do, because first of all, you got to understand, how did we manage to be in this process in the first place? Who created the corporation? When you understand who created the corporation called government, and you understand that the corporation has not been removed, even though they claim that you're independent, you will realize that everything is just a lie, because you hear that they're claiming the country is independent, but yet you still see in the corporation that was established to enslave the land still standing, and you still see a governor general overseeing the affair of the queen. So how can you call that, right, independent? The only thing for the word independent is that a nation that stands on its own without any outside interference. But unlike what we see, it is not like that, because all these corporative government has to answer to an overseer, which we refer to as the crown, and they are put in place such as a governor general. So what we do is find out the procedure that was taken place from since 1250 that created this document that is running under maritime law, that is called the birth certificate. Because if you study back, did our ancestors create these corporations? No. Did our ancestors created these birth certificate? No. And you could answer that for me, Kenneth. Did your ancestors, the indigenous ancestors, create a document called a birth certificate? Kenneth, can you answer that one?
Did they? Because all my life, sir, I was born into one. We all grew up with one. Everybody got one. I'm not sure where it started.
Right. No, but if you understand maritime law, you will know that these corporations themselves who created the birth certificate.
Yes.
We did not create a birth certificate. We never used to make a birth certificate.
Let me ask you this, because this becomes a very important question. Where did birth certificate, the certification, the same thing they call birth certificate, where did it start?
It started from 1250 under the maritime law. 1250 they started this. They started with their own people. They was enslaving their own people first. So they realized, okay, we can create a document under maritime law and we can turn people into chattel. So we turn people into chattel property through this document. But it was without a disclosure. And you know, if you're going into a contract with me, if I didn't give you a natural agreement and you didn't agree with it, the contract can be null and void. Even if you forcefully sign it, you can still take me to court and win me for coercion and threat, right? So it's the same with the state. It's very easy to destroy the state for what they're doing. All you got to do is understand the process of how they took this procedure, what they did, and reverse it. So now
look here, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a movie called The Matrix the other day,
mm-hmm.
and I watched it again,
right?
like just repeated it for some strange reason. And I am actually very concerned about the fact that The Matrix is actually a practical reflection of the current state of the people within our society. The two pills, the red pill take you down the rabbit hole and you learn the truth about what life is all about. And the blue pill, you could wake up and continue your life as usual if you want. Now, I think a lot of us have taken the blue pill because we are living in a state of sleep.
Yep.
Very unaware of the fact that there's a rabbit hole which is so deep. Unaware. And by virtue of the fact that we were all the recipients of this birth certificate as you relate to it, it now leaves all of us, whether independent or not, whether however free we think we are because we have a couple of dollars and a little place to sleep and a little blanket to cover at night, everybody feel comfortable, you have a little comfortable. But we are yet to fully understand, as you're outlining this to us, sir, how seriously disenfranchised we have been as people. And I think this is where the sovereign nations, you're talking about the Maroons in Jamaica, you're talking about the Washitaw Nation in Europe, you're talking about the what you call them, the Moors in the States. Many other such nations have somehow are now very woke to the fact that there needs to be something else. There is more to life than what we see around us. Quite interesting. My other question to you is this, sir. You look at where we are right now in relation to the waking of our people. As the Grand Yanka mentioned earlier, that the live presentations, from what she has been seeing, a lot of people have been gravitating to the love, the warmth, the knowledge, the people keep coming for more because people are awaking. You look at what is happening with governments, a pile of garbage, literally. Government has no regard for people. They do not protect the rights of people. And everybody, it seems, across the world are getting to a place where we are all tired of this thing we call government. And like church, when it fails, people look for something else. Yes. Empress Janice mentioned earlier that she was quite an ardent church member, going to church, but it just wasn't adding up at all. And so is it for many other people. The point is, dedication to an institution does not provide freedom, whether it is church or government or whatever else it is. Freedom happens in a practical sense when you realize where you are and take practical steps to free yourself. Now, in relation to where the Washitaw Nation is at this point, what would be your word to our listeners at this point in relation to where we go moving forward? Talk with us.
Well, I would encourage everybody to first learn the procedure that was took to enslave you and reverse it. The same how they enslave you is the same how you can reverse it, because we would introduce you to a nation building, and in that nation building we would have structures, such as we would start with documentation to reverse the slave code and bring you under a natural, free, living, flesh and blood, male or female. So in other words, we will do what we call a declaration of identity and declaring your sovereignty, owning and protecting your rights at all costs. So therefore, you wouldn't be trapped under the civil debt system that is referred to as government, corporate colonial government, which has no regard for none of you and just use you as chattel property. So the most step I would advise in everyone is to learn how the system was structured and reverse it like we're doing. And if you're not fully comprehend of it, then you can contact the Washitaw Nation and we can give you the very much relevant advice or information as to how you can either join our nation or search for a next nation where you feel you incline to join, and remove yourself from being a subject. Because it's very simple. The pen is mightier than the sword, and what they did was use the pen and create a structure and enslave you through it. And all you got to do is reverse it, remove yourself from under it. Do not accept what they give to you, because what they give to you is only by acceptance you become a slave. So for instance, if I bring something here for you and I tell you, man, you have to do this, you have to do that, and you say, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, but yet I put a gun to your head and force you to do it against your will. After you don't do that, right, you feeling so uneasy and unhappy because I put you through this, through coercion. It's the same way the system did. Now, in the result of revenge, you might want to kill me or do something to try to get me out of the way because you know what I did to you was totally wrong. You did not normally consent to what I put you under. Well, it's the same way with the system. They lied, they deceived our parents, they created a system, and they never told us the truth. More than after you get into the situation you're in, then you've been suppressed in many different ways. So this system now is so easy to destroy them. Once we gather in large numbers and we document everybody, remove them from this corporate debt system, then we can better take the state to an international court and bring them down for war crimes, genocide, and all forms of evil against humanity. Because what they did was the most wickedest thing to ever be done on earth. Right? These colonial processes had no regard for our people and our way of life. So when you see some of our own brothers and sisters call themselves fiduciary officers, such as civil servants, you know they're demonic because they're coming and signing legions for this same slave system to stay alive, to enslave our own people. And these are our very own brothers and sisters that is referred to as police, coast
they're the traitors of today because they're actually promoting and endorsing a slave colony. And our enemy is the system. Our enemy is the state. And the state is an invisible corporation, but the fiduciary officers uphold the state. They're the ones who go out with all these false allegations against citizens with the statute laws and claim that the state come against them. But the state is not a living entity. So then again, when you understand law, it's very easy to beat them in their own court. It's very easy to destroy them because all what they're doing is a bunch of fraud. And it's all done on deception and lies and coercion and duress.
Wow. Wow. Heavy stuff here coming from Chief Tonic, goodness gracious. And when the day is over, welcome to the Raw Truth. If you're just joining us, please share this live because when the day is over, whether you like it or not, the man is informed as to what is going on, whether you believe it or not. He is proclaiming his message to the world. There is a better way, he says. There is a better way. We're going to take a short break and come right back. And when we come back, I see Empress Clara on the line. I'm not sure who else might be joining us. But of course, we're going to take a short break and come right back in a minute. Don't touch that dial.
COVID-19 is destroying many countries around the world. Many people are now worse off as inflation continues to spike out of control. Yet, salaries remain fixed, which is forcing many people to take drastic measures to maintain their standard of life. Single parents can hardly make ends meet while husbands and wives are now struggling to keep their families together. Even when both parties are earning a salary, income is still not enough, and this is forcing many to borrow, which only plunge them deeper into debt. Lifeline Financial Programs is the only financial support program in the BVI which stretches your income so you can afford more. Lifeline generates money on your money so you can better take care of your family. Lifeline helps you build cash reserve and set your mind at ease while our strategic financial plans transform your life. Guaranteed. Opportunity comes but once. If you lose it, it is gone forever. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get registered with Lifeline Financial Programs today and let us help you transform your financial life. Lifeline Financial Programs will help you stay ahead. See us at 4 Mill Mall or call 540-4555. Or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com for a registration appointment.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Okay, welcome back to the Raw Truth, and we have with us this evening the Washitaw indigenous family, and of course, this is absolutely a wonderful presentation, and it actually gets better as we move into the evening. I'm gonna go ask Clara to see if she will be able to get back in with us. Good evening, madam. How are you doing?
Greetings.
Wonderful. You're live. Wonderful. How is it going? How is it going in your neck of the woods? Talk with us.
I was having a little trouble with the connection. Don't know why, but I'm back on.
Wonderful. You are a part of the Washitaw family. Give us your journey up to this point. Talk with us.
Okay. What can I say? Well, I am a council on the Washitaw Nation, and it is with great pleasure to be a part of the nation. And I really want to encourage people to come forward and log into the meetings and seek the knowledge and seek the information, right? Maybe I could expound a little bit if we go into the spirituality of it, because I know Chief would have mentioned a lot where it concerns the law of science. But I also want to encourage people that this is a massive awakening taking place. And this is the opportunity for us not just to gain the knowledge of the law of science to protect our sovereignty, but this is also the opportunity to learn the science of spirituality and to understand all the lies that was told to us, right? And I need people to understand that it is one human race. Let us put aside the racism, let us put aside the religion, because it was all man-made to keep us divided so that they can conquer us and they can control us and oppress us in the way they have. And I want to, expound and emphasize how important it is to not just, be grounded lawfully, remedies lawfully, but to be grounded spiritually. Excuse me on that. To understand, how important it is to know thyself, get connected with you, to understand, that you are greater beyond what you are doing now, that you are capable of so much more. And it's not as hard as we think it is if we would just levitate on higher vibrations and just remove ourselves away from those negative energies and the fear. There's nothing to be fearful of. Nothing. There's no reason. Fear is what they build and manifest their evil plans on. And what we have to start doing is manifesting our plans. Start creating. They say COVID is certificate of vaccination identification. That's their plan. Our plans is creating your own vision in details. And that's what we have to begin to do. Create our nations and create the world that we want to live in. Be a part of the movement. Start manifesting the world that you want to live in and start bringing it to the physical realm where you can actually push back all these plans and create the new world order. The new world order is not for them, no. The new world order is actually for the indigenous people. This is our time, and I'm saying to everyone, wake up and take your position, your rightful position, and take what is ours. Let's take it back.
Oh, a mouthful indeed. Goodness gracious. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be sounding a little funny to some of us who are not accustomed to this language. But it is something we must understand, and moving forward, I think there is much to understand. There's a lot of merit to this position moving forward, and I think it is something that we perhaps need to begin to examine. I think, because when you look at the fact that so much has been hidden from us, this I think is quite interesting and absolutely very credible for us to begin to examine the fact that so much has been hidden, as we are now finding out. And the good thing is that all the truth is coming out. Everything is coming out. Everything is coming out. I find it interesting. All the things that were hidden from us from day one, everything is coming out. People are calling it propaganda. Some of us can't deal with the truth. The whole point is you can't hide the truth because everything is coming out. I find it very interesting. I'm going to go back to the Granny Anchor, because there is supposed, I'm not sure exactly what might be happening tonight. I'm not sure who is going to be, I'm sure I understand that there was supposed to be a presentation this evening. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is. You're muted. You are muted. But tell me a little about what you would like to impart to our people tonight. What exactly you want to share with us tonight? Talk with us.
First thing for me is why liars lie. Liars lie because they know the truth. It's only because you know the truth they could lie. So for me is people need to stop living in the world of fiction.
The world of fiction.
Now we
and
are
and
living in friction,
wow.
right? A lot of us are living in friction, right? Because of the birth certificate, as our chief had explained, right? We are living in a world of fiction. It's time for us to live in a world of fact, and we need to make ourselves a fact documented as the
Yes.
living flesh and blood, man and woman. I would not himself say human, because when you look
Yes.
up the word human, it boils down to a beast. So I wouldn't even say human, but the living man and woman. And we need to make ourselves, we need to claim our life. We need to say, hey, we are alive, well and kicking, because on the 60 KB Trust of 1666, it states in a particular part of that trust where when you come to fruition, you need to claim your life. You need to make it clean, because government system will never put in place to help you or to help me in any way. All government system have done is they indoctrinate you, which we call education. And after that education, you need to get a job to work for the same parallel system to confiscate everything that you have. So for instance, an example of that is, let's look at the banking system. The bank is nothing else than a graveyard. What banks operate in? Cooperation, mortgage, and debt. When you look at the word cooperation, you get corpse. What is a corp? When you look at the word mortgage, what do you get? It's a debt pledge. It's all debt. It's all to take back everything that you have earned by registration and placing everything that you work hard for, your sweat equity, is being placed on the frictional name that were given to you under the birth certificate. And this is why I'm saying we need to stop living in the world of friction, because we need to know this fictitious name, this trust that they created, everything that you work hard for, you are now registering that into this trust, this name that sound like you, look like you, but it is not you. It is a fictitious person, is a fictional person that they have created for you. So it is all, so this is what had everybody confused, because when we actually say this to people, people want to know, well, how that is, how that could be, right? But people are, it's really fascinating to see that people are really coming to this understanding.
You're really waking up. Yes, I agree. I
Yes, they
totally
are
agree.
really waking up and coming to the understanding, because you need to do your research and see what is being said to you. Now, with the three situation I call, with the bank, the co-op, the mortgage, the debt, you go and you look up that etymology, you look at the etymon of the word, and you will see what the words truly mean, because we are dealing in language fraud.
Yeah.
The language we are speaking is fraudulent
Yes.
language. So you need to go and you need to
But
see it.
most people are not even aware that, listen, we are a unique nation by origin. We end up in this region by virtue of whatever means we came here by. And now the, the original languages of our melanated people, if you look at all of us, the people in the Caribbean region, for example, have lost themselves totally in relation to the original languages, the original customs, all the original traditions which we have learned from way back there ancestrally, is lost. And it seems to me that it is so lost that people are not even aware of the fact that they're even lost. And this is what makes it dangerous. Now, I can understand why this might sound a little crazy, because many people might not even be able to relate to what you're saying, because it is not popular knowledge, and we tend to get a little resentful when something is new. We tend to listen and take it with a grain of salt because it's new. Yet we seek not to do any form of research or align ourselves with people who can teach us or question some of the things we hear. I asked Empress Janice earlier, where should we start? She said maybe parents need to assume the responsibility to teach their children, to begin the process at home. Do you think we are so far gone that we may never see this education happening even at the school level, for that matter?
Well, we had gone far, and we had to admit that, it had gone far. But with the waking of people, because you see, this is what has to happen. There must come a point in time, and this is the point in time right here, because what had happened, it's like, okay, with the vaccination in place at this point in time, people had gained knowledge of the dangers of these vaccines. And with that situation, people are looking for a way out. One situation creates another. Now, this situation with the vaccine, with people trying to get a way out, is now how they were looking for a way out. And as they look for a way out, they are gravitating at this because they are seeing this as their freedom, which is true freedom, because it's not against the system. The system have put in place for persons, for people who have come to fruition to claim their life. And this is one of the ways. So this, when we may look at the vaccination as a negative, in a way it's a positive, because it's also a way in which people are being waked up by. So I think when it goes back to the more people that wake up by this, going back to the schooling, people are now going to be seeing where they really truly need to homeschool their children. And homeschool never stop, because there are certain people who don't send their children to these schools. It's only we send our children to these schools.
I was listening to a gentleman the other day, and he was actually
we need to put a stop to that.
Yes,
and we
he was led.
Homeschooling our children.
That's the point I'm just about to make. This gentleman was actually, he is involved in a homeschool system, which and it has grown. It seems to me that many parents are waking up to the fact that homeschooling seems to be the way to go. And they are currently moving back to that frame. What is your take on it, Chief? What are you seeing? Are you there, sir?
My mic is mute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My mic is unmuted. Can you hear me?
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, man, you're open.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
My take is always that the first one to teach the children must be parents. So we have to put into consideration that we shouldn't let anyone teach our children before we can ever teach them, because we are the first to show them how to even feed them. So why would we want someone other than us instill the ideology into our children? It wouldn't be good. And that's how we have these systems
been able to perpetrate itself for such a long time? It's because of the indoctrination. So to reverse that, we must take up the mantle and teach our children for ourselves. It starts home. Schooling starts from in the home. So as mothers and fathers, we have to teach children, and we should not rely on any corporate system to instill the indoctrinated so-called education on our children, which is the colonial teaching, Eurocentric teaching. If you want me to put it into exact perspective, it's called Eurocentric jackass teaching. That's what it is. So we don't want that.
Chief, we were raised we were taught that if you don't go to school, you're going to come out a mumu. That's what they tell us.
Not true. It's not true.
Chief, I see many people go through primary, junior high, technical high, college, university, and right now they're as dumb as a doorpost. Does education really work? Talk to us.
Education can only work if you have the sense to think critically, because it's not bad that learning to read and write and being able to count and decipher the normal process of life. That is not bad, because it's very good to learn to read, write, spell, count. We would say the basic, but to be distracted with the type of education that they would like to instill in you, it will turn you into a jackass, right? So it is always important that you learn to read and write and learn the basic, but stay in a mindset where you can be critical thinkers and not be a follow suit. Because most of the people who say they went to a university degree right now, who call themselves professor of this and that, they're the most retarded. And I see people on the street calling them who can't even read.
Oh my goodness! Chief Tonic here is giving us some very serious, serious knowledge. Educated people, some of them, he says, are most retarded. What a shame! And it's a fact. It's a fact, and we need to wake up to this. I've seen people who say they have degrees. Absolutely, it's crazy. I'm not sure whether some of them buy these degrees are weird God's name they come from. Coming online with us, we have a couple beautiful folks here. The family has grown, and we have quite a lot more folks coming on here. Chief Calvin, we see Chief Calvin out of the Virgin Islands, of course.
Good night.
We also have I call her Queen Etta Queen Etta Pemberton. I call her the Queen. And some amazing people, and these are also amazing people who have awakened to the fact that something is going on, and they have to.
Good night.
They have to. Yes, greetings, Chief Calvin. Now, if I were to bring in Queen Pemberton at this point, let me bring her in, because I need to know, Madam. Tell me what have you been seeing in relation to what is going on with our people in this move? There's a huge awakening going on. Give us your perspective on it. What have you been seeing? Are you there? Obviously, there's an internet problem. There is an internet problem. Chief Erskine, talk to us. What have you been seeing?
I mean, as far as what's going on in the world, the whole COVID thing is falling apart. It's falling apart flat on its face. But yet, I see that all governments of the Caribbean keep going with this farce. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like, is the TVs or the newspapers in the Caribbean saying different than what's going on the planet? Because people pushing back, lawsuits in place. These vaccines are being called cease and assist is being called on the vaccine given out. It don't matter which one, they all sat at the same table and planned the epidemic together. So it don't matter which vaccine you point at. So
wow.
You know, people need to
Wow.
wake up and they need to seriously wake up and realize that God gave us this planet to inherit, all of us, not some men, not those who seek power, all of us. And this, if you believe in God, you believe in a Lord thy God, then you got to believe in his son, the devil. And the devil always tricking people, and he has tricked our leaders. He tricked our leaders in believing the money will buy them freedom in hell. It got to be that is the promise. That's the only thing I could see. Nothing else makes sense when you think about why they acting so stupid. It got to be that's the promise.
Listen, money seem to have become the god of a lot of people have been blinded by this money thing. I guess when Satan took if we remember the story when Satan took Jesus upon the mountain and he showed him the Bible says the wealth and the riches of the world. He said, "All this will I give you if you bow down and worship me." It looked like a lot of people now can't handle the can't handle the temptation at all. They're selling out
At
for it.
all.
It's
And and
go ahead.
and to yeah, and to further push something that I have noticed, right? So there are global lawsuits going on, meaning lawsuits that every one of us who has lost something because of this farce, we can join, right?
Yes.
So to be an attorney or a legal professional, in most countries, you call them, they're ready to go. They're ready to find out how we could get involved because they want their little 20%. But I notice in attorneys are very quiet and going along with the farce, acting like they don't know how to sue the government.
Mm. You let us shift it back to the Washitaw family because here we are at this point. I think many people are very tired of the madness. Many people are very upset because of what is happening. Many people seek to liberate themselves moving forward, given the fact that a lot has been falling apart, and our politicians seem not to be able to fix it. What would you say to us about the Washitaw family tonight, as someone who is looking on? Talk with us.
I'm gonna tell you this. I felt I always knew something was wrong, and then joining the service it more point to a lot of the stuff that we was taught was a lot of farce. So it opened my eyes, and yeah, the Matrix is a very, very good example to use. And since I came to this nation, since I have met the honorable people that are here, male, female, it don't matter. Everybody is strong. Everybody has their strength, and everybody has a knowledge that they are more than willing to share with you freely,
Yes, yes,
freely,
yes,
not sell
yes,
you, not sell you
yes,
knowledge,
yes,
share with you freely. And if you
yes,
need to know more information, it's not a shun or oh I too good to deal with you. It's a open sure, of course, because we
yes.
want you to all succeed. And that is something that everybody wants to feel in this world. That is something why everybody believe when these politicians and these leaders give up that smile and they use keywords and they have talking points that touch to the heart and they kiss a baby every left and right every election time. That is why people fall for it. Because
Yes,
what they're doing is mimicking something that should be reality. And in this nation, we have this reality. We
very
have
strong
this.
point. Yes, very
You
strong
could
point.
feel it. You could feel the genuineness that's coming out of people's mouth. There's no
Yes.
pretending. There's no pretending to be somebody that you are not. Nobody is seeking you to be that person either.
Wow.
They're not. So
Wow.
it's just a reality of these are people who have seek knowledge, have seen what has been hidden using knowledge,
Yes.
and has also attained knowledge to fight back against a system. Yes, we were born in, but we don't have to be in. I
Wow.
never knew this. Imagine I were in the belly of the beast, the military, and I never knew that I didn't have to be a part of none of this. I didn't have to. All this time I could have been a free black man without
Yes.
blaming some invisible white man for it. Because at the end of the day, the people that get money together are all kind of races as well. It's not just white and black no more. You have a little sprinkle of Chinese, Asian, you have a little sprinkle of Russian, you have a sprinkle of South American. I mean, we could keep going with this. The reality is they make money together and they plot against us together and they have accepted the devil together because they are part of cults and groups that serve the devil. So here we are, people who love God, whether you're spiritual, religious, and let me tell you something about religion. And I don't think it's religion. I think it's the pretenders that we use as example in the churches that is causing the problem. If you think about it, every chosen prophet, whether a defender or anything in the Bible, even Jesus, spent their time in reality, in the real world, along the lands, walking this, seeing the seas, greeting nations, having transverse and trade with nations, meaning people ran outside of the wars and people ran outside of all the problems of their nations, and they gathered together regardless. And that's how we got trade in the first place. But now it has been abused and turned into a slave ship. The entire thing is an abuse. But, you know, to come back to what this nation represents the freedom from the folly in our reality, if you want to simplify it.
Wow. A mouthful indeed, Chief. And I want to bring in Chief Pemberton here because she has been in the back and listening very carefully. I'm sure she has quite a mouthful to share as well. Chief, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, all. Yes.
You've been taking in the discussion from what you have been seeing. You watch the move happening. You observe what is happening on the ground. You see the suffering of our people. You understand that well. What is your take on it at this point? Talk with us.
Good evening again. Good evening, chiefs, queens, empress. My take is I am so happy that this moment of truth has arrived. This moment of awakening has begun. It's something I've been preaching for a long time. Mental slavery. Mental slavery. They have us in bondage, and too many people are so weak within their spirit to wake up, to arise to the occasion of the truth. And it is a great pleasure to be a part of something so great, a part of opening your spiritual mind and gathering your thoughts in a deeper way. Um, when I talk about spirituality, a lot of people get nervous. There's that's too deep for them, And the system, all my life I've been questioning the system, questioning why things go the way they are, why people don't speak up, why people are so afraid to share the thoughts. And I call it has been a brainwash system. So now that we are not no longer brainwashed, our brain has kickstart fire burning now, man. I'm pleased. I'm happy. It's a joy. That's what I have to say.
Wow. Quite interesting. And wow. But what else can I say? I don't. I'm kind of left without words right now myself because it is all such an amazingly new chapter in the lives of many of us, and that we are yet to see unfold as we move into the 21st century. Chief, there should have been. Is there something you want to present? Is there a presentation? Is Chief there? You hearing me, Chief? It seems we're having it's an internet problem, man. The Caribbean is having a serious problem with internet connection. This is nasty,
uh,
man. Serious problem serious problem with internet. I'm not sure when this is going to end. Oh my goodness. You can't even have a decent discussion without this phasing in and out and disgusting. Let me go to the Grand Yanka because she might. I hope she might be able to add. Is there anything else you want to present to us? I'm sure there might be. Yes. Grand Yanka, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. What I would like to add, I would like to ask people to ask themselves the question: how could I be educated if I do not know that I'm enslaved? How could I be educated if I do not know my history, where I've come from, where I've been, where I'm going? How could I be educated if I am not able to defend myself, to defend my rights? So I am telling people, I'm asking people to ask themselves this question and come up with the appropriate answer. Because to be educated, these are the things you need to know.
Yes.
These are the things you need to know. So it's time for us to pick up the pen, pick up the weapon, because your pen is your weapon. That's your defense. Your education is your defense. Government never gave you education. They gave you indoctrination so that they can control you.
Yes.
And it's time enough for us to come out from
Yes.
government control so that we can control ourselves. We could have control ourselves. We could dictate our pace. So we need to pick up the weapon, which is the pen, and educate ourselves so that we can mitigate the situation that we are in here at this point in time.
Powerful note there. Empress Janice, the pen is one way to go. When you look at our people collectively, are we ready for this move? You think we're ready?
Absolutely, we are ready. And it seems like every resource that we need is just coming supernaturally. Actually, it's just coming together. It's an ingathering of people. I listened, someone sent me a video today, and it was from Trinidad, and the pastors and clergy had come together, and I heard grown men basically crying because they're saying if you're not vaccinated, you cannot work. And they have young people that just came out of school, they need jobs. And I would like to appeal to the clergy and the pastors. I know this is not a religious platform. Our nation is not about religion, so to speak. But the very Bible that they've been carrying for all these years has everything that they need to point them right back to where they need to be. It says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. They need the knowledge that we have. And I'm appealing to the pastors, the shepherds of their flocks, to begin to look for a way out. The government is not going to save you because they're actually your enemy. They're the ones that are now dictating to you to take poison into your body. Your rights have already been taken away. If you're waiting for it to be taken away, it's gone. You have no rights. They are telling you. Just because they're not knocking on your door at this moment, how far away is that? No one could have imagined in 2020, even on a day like today, that this is what we'd be facing now in 2021. So I'm appealing to them to begin to educate their people, to begin to teach them this knowledge that they cannot find a savior in the government. They need to begin to free themselves. They need to come out, as they say, from among them. The ones that want to be awakened need to come out. Save your lives. And the people need to stop looking to the government for a solution. They are the problem. How can you go to your enemy
So true.
for food and water and for a solution when what the way they have us benefits them? It's about money. 1% owns all the wealth in the world. Let that resonate for a moment. 1% owns everything, and yet they charge you for water. They charge you for natural resources. But it's time for the people to learn that they are the ones who put their governments in power, and they are the ones that can collapse their governments with the pen. Get yourselves together. This is an emergency.
That's correct.
We do
That's
not have
correct.
time to waste. Our
Nope.
lives, your lives, the lives of your parents, grandparents, your children depends on what you will do. Are you going to sit back and let your very life be taken without doing as much as taking up a pen? Gather yourselves together in your nations and begin to bring class action suits against your government. It is an emergent time. It's an emergency. The time is critical. You have no time to sit and ponder and debate back and forth between different organizations, between churches and mosques. We have no time. They will kill us equally. This is time to gather yourselves. Sue your prime ministers at class action suit in numbers. 10 million, $10 billion. Then sue your government and they will pay attention. Stop sitting by helpless. You are not helpless. Take up your pen and begin to write and send it to them. They will pay attention when you pull yourselves together, gather yourselves together, and begin to let them know that we put you in power, and the same ink that we use to put you in power is the same ink we will use to take you out.
Well said.
Boy, the preacher has spoken. What can I say? This is serious stuff. And when the day is over, we really need to understand how serious this is. Chief, Paramount Chief, there. I'm not seeing one of our family members. I have some stuff here that should have been presented. What's happening with that? Is she here? No man. No man, my chief, me not hearing my chief at all. What going on there, man? Nasty internet system. Listen, I'm gonna take you off the platform and you log back in because something is happening here. I'm not sure exactly what is happening here, but he's not coming through at all, and that's not good. All right. So as we move up to the hour, we have been having quite a chat here with our. It's an amazing family, and it's the Washitaw sovereign family. We're talking about a regional international family as we speak, and they're connected with us from all over the world tonight to share with you in relation to what has been happening across the world as the Washitaw people come together to free themselves from, as you rightly hear tonight, a system that is burdening them down and burdening us down, burdening down the world. And by virtue of the fact that we have no freedom, we have been exploited. I'm going to take a short break, come right back. And of course, when we come back, we're going to be putting the cap on it for tonight as we wrap up this evening's session. Back in a moment.
The last thing we always hear after trouble strikes is, "If I had known." It is dangerous to take things for granted, then find yourself alone in deep mess with no one to turn to. Only you and you alone will suffer the consequences. Serious changes are taking place around the world, and things will get tougher in the Virgin Islands. Yet many of us continue to hop along our merry way, sadly uninformed and unprepared. Regardless of how safe you may feel, you will soon realize that unless you have a strong support system in place, life will become very difficult. This is why we must take immediate steps now to secure ourselves by becoming a member of a strong support system before things are too far gone. Lifeline Financial Programs is the strongest support system you can ever have. Lifeline offers the best option for social, financial and emotional support as we prepare to meet the challenging days ahead. Lifeline is the only program which offers not only financial support, but social and emotional support as well. Regardless of what anyone may say, if you do not have strong financial, social and emotional support moving into the trying days ahead, you will face some very serious challenges. Lifeline Financial Programs provide the most reliable support as we prepare you to meet the challenging days ahead. If you have a job, find us now before your situation change for the worst. Take me seriously. Don't allow things to fall apart then you say, if I had known. Get registered with Lifeline Financial Programs today. Protect yourself. Let us shield you against the tough days ahead. Call us at 540-4555 or see us at 4 Mill Mall today for more information.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Okay, we are back with you, and we have been having quite a very interesting chat here with the Washitaw family, the Washitaw indigenous family, quite a loving, warm bunch of people. We have an amazing chief as well. He is an absolutely wonderful man, and when the day is done, I think he has good intentions for his people. I hope he'll be joining us soon, because I noticed that the internet has been behaving very badly tonight, and many people are having a very, very serious time even staying on the live. It's very, very, very serious. Internet has gone to the dogs in the Caribbean region. I'm not sure exactly why internet service is collecting all this money from people and giving them garbage. I can't figure it out. And maybe the people now need to protest like how Floyd lied or something.
George Floyd.
George Floyd. People need to protest like hell for better internet service. Yes? This is madness. And we are not supposed to be paying for services. That is a pile of garbage. I have a serious problem with it. And I have to stick this in. And maybe we need to set up our own nations that we can set up our own indigenous or sovereign systems where we set it how we want it and get the best services for ourselves rather than waiting on some of these crappy service providers. A darn shame. And I speak without apology. It's disgusting. Yes? All right. Now, I want to wrap this up because now we have about 15 minutes to really throw the spokes into this so we can get out, putting the cap on so our people understand exactly where we are. I'm going to bring in back our chief right now because when the day is done, I think he has quite a bit to say in relation to moving forward. Apart from the documentation process, Paramount Chief. Our families, and I say our families across the Caribbean region, we seem to be divided among ourselves, like church. And I don't care what you want to say to me tonight, but it's a classic example that has been set among us, especially among church people. If you're not named Church of God, or Apostolic, or Church of God, or Methodist, whatever else you want to, or Protestant, whatever they want to call themselves, it's like you are not. If you are not a part of my church, you have to come to my church. This is how our people behaving, and I watch it happening for the longest time. And now you're talking about moving to a place where our people can become free. And there seems to be still among us a divide rather than we reach out to each other, integrate our intellect, our capacity for growth and development. Me over here, so you over this, so you round this, so that the one round this, so. And everybody still divided. Now it seems to me, sir, that the divide and conquer mentality or the notion as has become indelible in our minds as a race, has kept us divided, even though, according to what they say, slavery has been abolished, which has not been. And even though we seem to be free, which we are not, the biggest problem we have is that we're divided as hell. How do we break this barrier as we move forward? Give us a reason tonight to consider exactly what you're saying. Talk with us.
Consider this. We've been taken for a ride. We've been abused and used, mislead, okay? Take advantage of all our life. Now that we get into the light, now that we understand the truth and the criteria of how everything is taking place, I don't suggest that everybody would like to be abused anymore. You want to be able to walk with pride, be free. So I suggest that everyone should take up their own weight, write their own script, and begin to lead their own destiny. Stop make someone tell you how you should walk, what you should think, what you should do, and what type of food you should eat. Just like they're trying to dictate to you for take a poisonous jab that they refer to as a vaccine. And you know that the best protection you have is your immune system. So why would you disregard the beauty of Mother Nature for a man-made substance that could never agree with your alkaline body? So it would mean that if you follow an agenda that has been put forward by you, by someone who tell you that they know the best for you, it means you're not a critical thinker, or you're not somebody that is standing firm. So in other words, to stand firm and to be a critical thinker, you must have a vision. So if you have not reached in the light to comprehend where we're coming from, I authored and I say this in passion, that you take your time to find your true self, because the knowledge starts from within you. It's in our DNA. All you got to do is tap into it. Once you tap into it, it opens up. And when it opens up, the information starts flow. And you begin to just feel like a light shining over you. You begin to feel lift. Because when you're being open to knowledge and information, the indoctrination becomes nothing to you, because you're no longer following an agenda, perceiving and lies and false information. You're now on a higher height, so your intellect is on a different level. So the information I would send to my brothers and sisters, to the ones them who's just reaching this knowledge, and I would say seek it deeper, like start within oneself, because it's in yourself that everything is in, and it can only be accessed if you give the willing accept in yourself to access of it. Because I can't help you find yourself. You have to help yourself. It's like I gotta tell you, okay, the hour is here. Are you gonna eat some food? And you're gonna say, okay, I'm ready. And then the hour pass and go by, and then when it's late in the evening, now you find yourself then eat, and you're telling me 2 days after you get a bad gas. So who caused the problem on the self? Is it me? It's you. So I guess it's part of ignorance, knowing that certain things that you may do could cause a bad effect on your life. So if you tend to stay passive and don't want to take heed of the information that we're sharing, I don't want to research to see what you've been taught is lies, and correct the lies and take a step forward instead of going backward, then I just gotta say, then to each his own, and each one teach one, and I rule my destiny. So I will want to make the decision for myself. I don't want someone to dictate or tell me what I should or should not do. That doesn't play in the line of Mother Nature and the universe. The universe gave me a free will, and every one of us has free will. So I start by telling one, brothers and sisters, start to find yourself, think within yourself. Is everything that you see going on right now correct or right? is everything seems normal to you. If it don't seem normal, then step out in the light and try to change it. Because it's only you can make the changes within yourself. I can't change your thinking of way, and I can't change your way of life. You have to see when something is wrong and be able to make the step to correct it.
On that
Right?
note,
We
sir,
cannot go about in our daily life repeating the cycle of the indoctrination and the mental slavery, have it recycling itself over and over. We have to set a stamp and stop it. Enough is enough. So you cannot let
on
politicians and the system continue doing what they're doing. If we don't
right,
stop what they're doing, they'll continue.
they will continue.
So we must
Totally,
Yes.
put down.
Yes.
totally.
Yeah.
On that note, sir, I'm gonna ask everybody to open their microphones right now. I want everybody to open your microphone. I'm gonna ask you one question, and I want all of you to answer me one time. Everybody, open your mics. And this might be interesting. Open your mic. My question is: are our politicians treating us right? Everybody answer.
No.
No.
My God. This is an international gathering. You all saying the same thing? I think some places were worse than others.
And they are not our politicians. To be
Hold on,
exactly.
sir.
Let me speak.
Hold on a little bit, sir. Do you think that we can get better in our countries across the world where we live? And answer together.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Oh my God. People, I hope you're listening to this, because this is not a joke. Everybody's saying the same thing. Is that really what is happening here?
I would ask,
Let-
let me ask a question. Is everybody know that the power of unity is what's going to take us to the level that we need to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Isn't the power of unity is what going to take us to the level that we want to reach?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes. Definitely.
So there is need of unity coming together. It's in a great urgent need. So let's manifest the cry to the people. Let's manifest the urgent need of the unification. Right now it's important that we unite all over the globe to bring changes, to bring back balance, and to give back the resources to every man and woman freely. Because we're not supposed to pay for water. We're
No.
not supposed to pay for the resources.
Nope.
The earth was given to us by the universe for free. We're not supposed to pay tax to live in our own land. We're not supposed to pay tax for water. We're not supposed to pay tax to be able to move around in our country, whether it's by
Nope.
boat or plane or nope.
Cause.
That's our natural, God-given, inalienable rights. So until we stand on our square, then we can shut these criminals that is called fiduciary officers, that is known as civil servants, that is called plantation slaves, the original name for them, and shut them up and put them in the place. So this is why now we don't want to be under the structural system, such as the civil debt system, through the birth certificate. We reverse that, we create our own indigenous government, and we step ahead, and we step on them. Because it's our power, and it's our time. Does everybody agree with me? It's our power, it's our time.
It's our
Let me hear we
time.
say this, my people.
Yes.
Our power.
Yes.
It's our time.
It's our time. Definitely.
Oh my gosh,
Definitely.
this is serious. You heard it for yourselves, listeners, viewers. I don't know how I could never have said it better myself. When the day is done, we're all affected. Everybody needs better. We have to make it happen for ourselves. Chief Pemberton, talk with us. I need to hear you as we close. What is your final word here as we put on the lid here? Talk with us.
My final word is that
Take a minute.
I already have a minute. It's to stand up, people. Too long. They said the finger is a powerful weapon. Too long, my people. You've been shackled. Take off your shackles and be free. Take off your shackles and be free. the system has taken away our freedom. I hear every day the cry of people. I can't, they want to travel, but with fear in their heart, I have to be vaccinated. That is a crime. That is against human. Well, we are not human because we are not beasts. That is against men rights. Stand up, get your sword, which is your pen, and go marching forth and take down the walls like Jericho. That's my final thought.
Chief Erskine, give us your final words as we close.
Ah, well, my final words would be I know a lot of people, every day they see something wrong, they go to work unhappy. They come home, they hear stories from their kids about something their child is concerned about that shouldn't be in reality. You have the school system teaching the kids about different sexualities and having sex when they didn't even want to teach young ladies how to home ec or young men how to home ec because I went to home ec when I was younger. They took it out to school, so they made you depend on your parents at all times. If you didn't want to work, you wouldn't work. So the world is very spoiled right now because of conditioning. So I would say if you're noticing something, that is your spirit telling you it's time to go the direction that God, the Father above wants you to go and needs all of us to go because we are supposed to take care of one another. We are supposed to pick up our fellow brothers and sisters when they fall. And paying tithes is not with the demon dollar. Paying tithes is you have 60 mangoes and you have none and you are hungry and I know how many people in your household I could well divide that between me and your household. That is paying your tithes, having consideration and care for each other. That's how I see it at least. So my last words is for Ayo to come and seek your destiny. And your destiny is not this system. It is not pay them to teach you folly and then call it a degree. It's time to be free and really free. All that is here that they make us think we cannot have was created by us. They just patented or stole patents. They take it into their system and give us false feelings. But it's all created by us and it can be created again. So losing it shouldn't be what you fear being free about. Just be free. Pick up that pen. Seek knowledge into what that pen can do. If you know you have been thinking this way. That's really how I come this way as well. I felt something wrong. I also felt like nobody else thought like me. But then I found a group of people who do. And they on a higher plane as well, a higher vibration into positivity. And I really identifying what is reality. And what is reality is time to come together because the enemy has something bigger planned. And that's my final thought.
Let me bring in Empress Janice here as we close, Madam. You have a minute. Give us your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is to say to the people that are listening, it's time to free yourself. All the benefits that you may be worried about that you're going to lose, there's more benefits to be gained when you are a sovereign person, meaning you control your destiny. So do not be afraid to take that step. Save your life and save it now, and not just for your sake, but if not for your sake, for the sake of your generations to come. Because they're now injecting 12-year-olds. They cannot sign for themselves, but they can go and get vaccinated to kill themselves. So, people, if not for yourself and you're not listening because you think you know it, remember your children and their generations to come. Thank you.
And of course, I
Beautifully
want to bring
said.
in the
Beautifully
Granny
said.
Anchor
Yes.
to talk with us, Granny Anchor. Give us your final thoughts as we close. Talk with us, Granny Yanka. Your mic is muted. Talk with us.
I will say to the people out there, what should I say? We are standing out the blow. Let's come together, let's unite, and let's correct the wrong that they have done to us. Let's domicile ourselves on the land so we will be no longer lost at sea. Come to this nation, let's unite, let's come together, let's build this family together as one love, and let's correct this wrong. Let's take the mantle, let's hold the bull by the horn, and let's take this mantle to them. Because we deserve better. We deserve our rights. We deserve our freedom. Love life.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Granny Yanka. And of course, we are seeing Mr. Lumpkin is on the live. We thank you so much for joining us. And how would people contact the family moving forward? I'm sure other, folks will be very interested in contacting the family. You know, the Washitaw Nation. How would anyone contact? How do they get in touch with you? Can I put you on this one, Chief?
Yeah, well, they could definitely look up the Chief on Facebook, Tonic Man on Facebook, Chief Tonic on Instagram, and reach out there, because we don't want to just hand out the number on this public to everyone and anyone. Reach out on Facebook. When you reach out to me, I will feel your concern because I know the energies. I'm connected to the universe. Okay, we are light beings, so there is different energies and knowledge that is obtaining in me that I can communicate and see the level that you're thinking and know if you're real or if you're fake. So we will proceed from there. The energy will speak for itself. So, but what I want to say to my brothers and sisters and to the young ones or the new ones who's just reaching this information, seeking knowledge. And when you be able to comprehend the facts from the fiction, remove yourself from the teachers. Remove yourself from being a subject. Because slavery is by choice. You are only a slave when you accept being a subject. Right? I refuse to accept being a subject through the birth certificate. I reversed it. So just like I did it over 5 years ago, you can do it too. I pick up my burden and carry it on my own. I always was one who always could think about being my own leader and not being someone to work for no one. I don't care what job, what big payment they offer. I always want to be rule and lead my own destiny, not a follower. So in being a leader, I had different aspirations and different meditation and different skills. So I would put my skill into practice and create medication, herbal medicine that would be superior to the pharmaceutical poisons that they would call medication, right? And I had experience of healing people with many different illness, fibroid, and all different type of sickness, teaching people how to cure cancer and everything. So I do my work, and in diligence and with passion, okay? So when I went on this mission, more than 10 years, but after 5 years in the mission, I successfully created documentation to remove myself from being a subject and understand the criteria of how the pen was used to enslave us. And I would advise the newcomers and the ones who is just listening to this knowledge to do your own diligent research. And when you comprehend the facts that where we're coming from, and even if you don't comprehend it, reach out to me on Facebook. Reach out to the Granny Inca. Reach out to any one of the council members who will assist you in knowledge and we will help you to be free. And we want everybody to be balanced. We want the earth to be free. We want everything to return. Because Babylon cannot rule forever. It is always a saying, evil slay itself, and good is always over evil. And it's about to collapse the system. So the more we join together and pursue on this mission, self-govern, self-rule, self-determination, autonomy, sovereignty, that is the definition of liberty. And in every constitution, it states that everyone have their liberty. But if you have your liberty and then politicians is dictating your life for you, then something is wrong. Then your liberty is not being exalted. So take up your mantle and walk with it. Exalt your liberty now, my people. So it is time. And I say, it's a pleasure being on the platform with you, Honorable Kenneth, right? Honorable Chief Kenneth, Honorable Ganyenka, Honorable Council members, and Honorable the other chief and the other chiefess on the line there. I must say it's a pleasure. It's a power. I give thanks to the ancestors for this time. I give thanks to the listeners on Facebook and everyone. Put this knowledge into you and share this video. Let the truth be heard. The truth is open out all over the world. The freedom is opening out. But there is still some people still sleeping. Wake them up. We're knocking on your door right now, people. We're not let us in. The knowledge is seeking come into your heart. Honestly and purely, we do not want to gain material wealth and be benefit by teaching you this knowledge. We just want to see you become rich and live, prosper, and be joyful. Not being disturbed or dictated by some barber that has been taught to us government.
Yeah, we're not hearing it too well. We're not hearing it too well, Chief. I think something is going on with the mic there or something. I'm not sure. But we're not hearing it too well.
I was just saying I honor you, my brother, for bringing me today on this platform. I honor all the Grand Yenka council members, the other chief, my brother, and the other chief empress there. I honor all of us right now in this time. I give thanks to the listeners on Facebook and all the rest platform. I will ask them to share the video and seek to reach out to us. Will help you obtain the knowledge if you don't have it in the right aspect. Because the pen is mighty and open, it's time to use the pen and destroy the evil one. This evil concussion, try to destroy us. The knowledge that they bring is garbage. We bring knowledge of truth is what will set you free. Truth is the only thing that will make you free. Light and balance.
We're having a serious problem, and I'm watching the live here, and it seems to me that the audio is really choppy. I think it's as a result of the whole internet thing that is happening right now. It's disgusting. I'm not sure what is going to happen across the region. Nasty internet service, nasty. I have a serious problem with it. And you're going to the States, it's the same thing. It's like internet has become a pile of crap. I don't know what exactly are people paying for. I don't know. It's a disgrace. You can't even have a decent conversation online anymore. Maybe this is a part of the plan to silence people, is it? I need to find out. Well, somebody from the live was asking, they said there are many tonic man on social media. If you need to get through to the Washitaw indigenous family, please you can contact them through us here on PSI Network. You can go to PSI Network, leave a note in our mailbox. I'll be very happy to get the message to Chief Tonic. Or you can go to PSI TV on Facebook. You can leave a note there as well. Or you can go to YouTube as well, and you can also leave a message at PSI TV live broadcasts. We'll be very happy to tab into your notes, and we will be happy to get back to you. In the meantime, please share these lives because a lot of people will need to hear this. Amazing message from this amazing family. Very warm, very loving, very caring. If you will never understand it until you know for yourself. Link up with Chief Tonic because this is the family away from home that you never had. Family belonging to a mother, brothers and sisters from another mother. Absolutely amazing. And it couldn't be happening at a better time when we come together to support our across the world. Thank you so much for listening. Please become a member of PSI Network or PSI TV. Yes, or you can go to Facebook, subscribe. Not Facebook, you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, PSI TV, live broadcasts. Subscribe to the channel as well, so whenever we send out our broadcasts, you will be updated. All right. All the best. Keep it safe, and whatever you do, take care of yourselves. All the best until we catch up next Monday evening. Walk good. Until then.